pleasure of interviewing 3 young men whom have been affected by the criminal justice system in one way or another. I am forever grateful for their willingness to open up and to participate in sharing their voice with us. Thank you. The segment will open up with an I Am poem written by Helena, a 15-year-old young lady. An I Am poem is a structure for writing about yourself. The poem is filled with insight, feelings, and observation one has. Before this segment starts, I ask that everyone please be clear from distraction and really listen to what our youth are saying. What 3 words best describe you?
I would say that I am very compassionate, hardworking, and caring.
Probably like creative, introspective, and I guess like generally quiet, like before I know people.
Joyful, musical, broad.
What is your greatest strength?
I think my greatest strength is my ability to work with other people. I'm very good at like team building and leading.
Music.
Probably my creativity. I mean, it's the thing I'm most like proud of with myself. It's what I want to use for like my career. Like I want to do art for a living.
So we all face challenges in our daily life. What would you say is the top 2 challenges that you've faced so far?
I would say I did IB freshman and sophomore year. It's like a college prep program sort of, and it just makes your high school super difficult. And I knew I had the ability to do it, but I didn't have the motivation, and so I eventually had to drop out of that, and I switched to AP classes instead, which I found to be a lot more helpful for me. But those for 2 years in IB, it was definitely a real struggle in making the decision that this isn't for me. Like that was a big decision to make. Second one, probably growing up with just my mom. The 3 of us really had to tough it out. We were living in poverty, the 3 of us, we really had to stick together and get through the tough times.
Grief and scheduling things.
I guess these are probably both fall into mental health, but I'm using for 2 different things. ADHD and depression are both things that impacted me in like learning and just growing up, especially ADHD from when I was in elementary school, but basically all the way up to high school. And like it got like the last 2 years have been fine, but like freshman year and sophomore year were kind of hard, I think, because of that, and middle school was too.
How have you handled those challenges?
So with IB, I really had to take inventory of like what decisions I was making for myself and like which ones I was making because I thought I should. Like IB's was the thing you're supposed to do for kids like me, and it was the thing you do when you get into college and you get all these scholarships and they make it sound so good. But then when I was in it, I was just like thinking, I'm not enjoying this. I don't really know how much this will help me in the long run. Is this something that's really important for me? And I had to think about it for a long time before I really decided, this isn't helping me for what I need to do. I had to just make a decision to be more focused on myself instead of doing what the counselors say and instead of doing what I'm supposed to do, doing what I need to do for myself. And then growing up, the 3 of us, my mom handled most of the hard work, of course, but a lot of just bonding. You got to know that those 2, my mom and my brother, the 2 people who've always been there. So just knowing that you're not alone, you got those people with you all the time, trying to keep a positive outlook, knowing it'll get better someday. And it has. It is better now.
I go to my brother for dealing with my mom, and I go to my dad with scheduling things.
Mostly just like therapy and medication. For a while, in 5th grade, I quit my ADHD medication, which actually set me back a lot for a few years. But then I ended up talking to a doctor and got put on I think I tried 1 or 2 medications where I found something that worked for me, and that one didn't really require that much like therapy or like at school stuff. Like I didn't need like a counselor or any sort of like thing for like learning disability type of thing. With like being depressed, I talked to therapists for a really long time, and I got help with that, and just like talking to people. That's how I dealt with that.
So what advice would you give to others if they're facing these same challenges?
Like I said, keep what's important for yourself in mind. A lot of times as a kid, you're told what to do a lot of the times, and you're not always given the chance to speak your own mind, but when you do have those chances, you have to take them.
I would tell them that it's going to be okay. In 5 years, it's not going to be the same situation. You're going to look at it differently. It's not going to affect you as hard as it does now.
Like for ADHD, try to like find something that works for you, and like know like how like you learn and how you can get stuff done, because if you don't, it's very hard to do anything. Because like for me, I know I'm not very good with like studying or like paying attention for stuff, so I need to like figure out a way to retain information, because if I don't know like how I'm good at that I can't learn anything, I can't be successful in school. And then if you're just like struggling with mental health stuff in general, talking to people is really the only way to fix it, in my opinion. Like that's something you can't do by yourself.
What is the one thing you wish people could know about you?
I try to show everyone that I care about them. I would say, like, even if people don't meet me, I try to make it very obvious as soon as they do know who I am, that I'm there for everybody. I just try to be super supportive, just try and let everyone know I'm there.
One thing I wish people could know about me is that I am writing music currently. So
I mean, a lot of people do know, but like I wish that like more people like saw me as like an artist instead of someone that just like does music, because like I feel like being a musician, being an artist are two different things, and I feel like I'm both, but I'd like to be seen more as an artist, because I do intentionally like some of my music it's more like sound design, so I actually have to like design stuff, and it's almost like creating art pieces. And I wish that's something that like people maybe took a little bit more seriously and like saw me as.
So as adult, we continue to try and grow all the time. What advice would you give an adult who is trying to help another one of your peers?
For the adults, the advice I'd be is just remember that the kids' lives are sometimes just as hard. Like a lot of the adults forget by the time that they're adults that what being a kid was still just as challenging. Though, I mean, being a kid, obviously my life might be a little bit easier, but we still have a lot of our own challenges to face. For someone like me, I guess the advice I'd give is just try to never give up. You know, like I know saying it gets better is so outplayed, but it really does. Try to keep your head up, get through the hard times until there's good ones.
Advice I would give is that we are just more complicated nowadays. So just be more open to different things, be more open-minded when like talking or doing something with them.
Mostly just like be patient. Like if like for me, I feel like a lot of the time I can get really frustrated with stuff if I don't understand it, or if I'm not sure how to process something. I can get like very agitated and not want to talk to people, and I just need space sometimes. So just like being patient and giving people space if they're like me, and then also just like understanding like their creativity and like fostering that, so like they don't feel like they have to do something else that like they know they don't necessarily like because like for a while like my mom, I think she really didn't expect me to want to like do music and like do what I do now, but after a while she sort of like got it and like helped me get stuff I needed like to be able to pursue that, so that really helped.
What does resiliency mean to you in your life?
Kind of like I just said, getting through the hard times until you can have a good one. Just remembering you're not alone is a really important thing. Like sometimes when you get down, you think you're the only one, no one cares, but you gotta remember those people who are really there for you, your family, your best friends. Using them to get through the struggles. Try to turn your energy into a positive impact. Like if you're like having a rough time, you don't want to do anything, but trying to have some kind of activity that engages you with people. Like I do orchestra and theater, so having a lot of social interaction can really help. Just try to turn your energy into something good instead of just beating yourself down.
It means I've been put through way more than a lot of people should. So I use that in a good way, as in I can take a little bit more. I can take a few blows. I can take a few hits to my armor. I use that as an armor, so I can just keep going through the day without having a break.
I don't know. I guess like in just like a very basic way, like being strong, being able to get through something without, I don't know, like breaking down. I guess like being able to get through difficult situations and learn and grow from it.
How have your activities promoted resiliency in your life?
One thing orchestra has taught me a lot about is like being a leader, and like because being at the front of the stand, you have to work hard, you have to practice, you have to show other people that you're dedicated, and being forced to have go and interact with people, have that kind of social space is really nice. It gives you something to do inside school and out of school. Like it gives you friends, people to talk to. You go home, you got music to work on. It really keeps you busy. I think that's also something that's important, is keeping your mind active.
Writing songs or just playing music in general on my guitar, it helps get me through the day without blowing up on somebody or just completely exploding and just going into a ball of fire.
I guess with my activities, with some of the challenges I talked about earlier, I use like my art to sort of like process that and like deal with that. So like if I make something when I'm feeling a particular way, like if I'm feeling depressed and I make something, I can listen back to it later and like sort of like process my feelings, or know that like it's okay to like feel like that, and there's a way to get through it.
How has the pandemic affected you?
Well, school closed, so that was a pretty big thing for me. I haven't gone to school in forever. Not being able to see my friends, definitely, it's weird, like we're so used to just doing our lives every day, and then all of that is gone all of a sudden. So it's definitely been very strange. I don't know, just been trying different ways to pass the time, I guess. I think anytime you know someone is struggling, just trying to show them that you're there in any sort of way, a little letter or a gift or anything small, even if it's little, to that person, it's going to mean a lot. So just, I don't know, any little thing you can try and do to just show that person you're there for them. That's all you can do, really. Because if someone doesn't want to accept the help, they can't, or they won't, but as long as you show them you're willing to, then that can make a big impact by itself.
I work in my church, and we're doing like streaming now and stuff, so I have to go there every Sunday. And this is kind of just like a story before I get into what I'm actually going to say. But I heard some adults who are teachers, two of the choir director there and one of the singers, both have like students, and they're kind of talking about this. And I didn't stop to say anything to them then, but I was thinking about it, and just like, don't be like discouraged if like your students or like the kids you're looking after for like after school activities, if they don't like participate sometimes, because there's no one's ever like experienced this before, especially not kids that are like 18 or younger. It's weird, and none of us really know how to process it. So for me, sometimes I kind of just like shut down and I don't really do anything. And it's not because I don't want to do anything, but it's just like I don't really understand what's happening. And sometimes I just need to stop and like think about it or do something else that might not be like super productive, but makes me feel better. So like, don't be discouraged if like the people you work with stop participating for a minute, because I do like get back into it. Like I've done like the youth group stuff that my youth pastor has done, but I didn't really do it at first because I wasn't really feeling super motivated. Detailed advice, but just like don't be discouraged and be patient with people because everyone's trying to like process what's happening and like deal with it.
Well, everybody has a specific role in this world, and everybody's role is just as important as the other. Like their role could be like helping kids with depression or helping kids get out of the legal system. And at the time when we were having the actual meetings, I was a Wendy's worker. In retrospect, it's actually just as important because I'm serving others and so are they. We're all doing the same thing, but in a different aspect and a different level. So it's just everybody's role is important. Don't ever put yourself down as an individual because you're saying, oh, this guy gets paid more than me. I don't know why. It's not about money or anything like that. You're helping others. You're impacting people's life, and it's just making everyone's day, everyone's life a lot better and a lot easier.
Just try to be a nice person, I guess. Do something good every day.
The music that y'all heard throughout the video was created by all three young men. Josiah shared his talent on the guitar, Marlon played the violin, and Marquis, also known as Small Baron, provided tracks from his CD Isolation Peaks. Each one of these young men asked that as adults we need to have patience, especially through these difficult times. As adults, we often forget the struggles of being a teenager. With that said, the struggles of a teenager today are different than a teenager a decade ago. This is why having a youth at the table when decisions are made is vital in the success of any program that serves youth. Thank you.